We are living in the greatest transformation the health and wellness industry has ever seen. For any of you who are looking to build muscle, lose fat, sleep better, improve your skin, your hair, anything, we finally understand that we've been going about all of them wrong for our entire lives. Up until now, the health and wellness industry only focused on the end result. You want to get bigger? Eat more. You want to get in better shape? Work out more. But what if your body doesn't have the cellular energy to process what you're giving it? In this video, we're going to go over the one peptide that has changed this for me and thousands of others. I'm talking about none other than SS31. By the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding than most medical professionals will ever have on how to improve the human body. Before we get started, it's important to note that I'm not a doctor and I'm not a medical professional, and if you're going to follow through with any of the treatments we talk about in this video today, make sure you're only doing so under direct medical supervision of a specialist in this field. Now, without any further ado, let's get into it. If you didn't know this already, every part of the human body is made up of cells. Every hand, every muscle, every eyeball, every piece of hair is all made up of cells. And at the center of every cell is your mitochondria. The mitochondria's job is to produce the energy in every one of your cells so that it performs the role that it's designed to do. In its most basic form, the mitochondria takes food and nutrients that we consume and converts it into usable cellular energy called ATP. For the purposes of this video, I want you to imagine the mitochondria as one big power plant. You've heard this before, it's the powerhouse of the cell. And all through this power plant, there's tons of electricity running through it, hundreds of thousands of wires that all gear towards one common goal. But everybody's power plants run a little bit differently based on who's managing the system. Some people's power plants are putting out 100,000 watts of electricity, while other people's are only putting out 10,000. Well, what's the difference between the two? The difference lies in what we feed and do to our bodies that are going to change our output. But it's not because it's drawing less power. It's actually because somewhere along the wiring, power is leaking out of the sides. If our mitochondria is the power plant and our cellular energy is the electricity that's running through the wires, the insulation, the stuff that's keeping the wires held together, is what's called cardiolipid. The difference isn't that one of them is producing more power. They both produce the same amount of power. The difference is only one of them has all of the power that it produces reach the endpoint. Somewhere along the way, the mitochondria starts leaking out of the mitochondrial membrane. Imagine the mitochondrial membrane as the insulation around the wires to make sure all of the electricity stays within its confines. When the insulation is cracked, the insulation starts to leak out and shoots dangerous sparks of electricity all over the factory. This is what happens in your body when your mitochondria is damaged, your reactive oxygen species, or ROS. When these are flying outside of the mitochondria, it begins to damage the cell and reduce the efficiency of the bodily functions that we're trying to provide. This is what causes things like inflammation, rapid increases in aging, muscle loss, fat gain. Every measurable decline of the human body can usually be attributed to some sort of decline in the mitochondrial membrane. SS31 is the miracle working repairman that comes into the power plant and patches up all of the leaks in all of the insulation to make sure nothing is leaving the mitochondrial membrane and everything is reaching its desired endpoint. Just like a power plant can't produce steady electricity with cracked wires, your mitochondria can't produce steady energy if it's damaged. Everyone always wants to add more power to their body, when what they really need to do is make sure they're not wasting any power. Just by making that one change, most people would notice dramatic improvement in their results with gaining muscle, losing fat, sleeping better, looking younger, or name another one. Let's go over in a little bit more detail how you can use this for those specific metrics. Let's start with what most people care about most on this page, and that's muscle building. With a properly functioning mitochondria, we're able to produce more ATP, which we've established is our cellular energy. With more ATP, the muscles contract harder in your workouts and recover faster post-workout. Where most people who are really serious about working out end up hurting themselves is overtraining. They think working out every single day is going to do them good. Well, the reason it doesn't do them any good is because their cells can't keep up with the demand. But theoretically, if your cells and mitochondria were efficient enough, you could work out every single day and your cells would just recover quickly enough to be beneficial for you. And I'm not saying SS31 will make it so that working out 7 days a week, twice a day is good for you, but I can definitely say that if you're someone who maybe only needs 3 or 4 days right now, you could bump that up to 5 or 6 days and get exponentially faster results. But more importantly than that, it increases muscle protein synthesis. And this is where I see a lot of people get hung up on, well, the body can only process 40 or 50 grams of protein per sitting. First of all, that's crap. The body processes as much protein as it needs in that moment. But if your body has enough cellular energy, there's no reason that you can't convert muscle protein synthesis all you want. Now, that would require a ton of cellular energy and probably wouldn't be able to happen just with SS31, but it's a tremendous step in the right direction. Think about it this way. You're a construction crew and you've got a house that you need to build by the end of this week. But the city has a weird set of rules. You can only use power tools between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. After that, it's lights out. Think of it this way. Your muscles are a construction crew that are constantly building your house, your body. But every day, that construction crew has to go home. Your construction crew has tons of power tools. Problem is, they only have one battery. So you can only use them for 10 hours before the batteries die. SS31 is like having a portable charger to keep your batteries lasting longer so that you can build the house faster. Without steady power, the crew has to stop and then start again, charge the batteries, so on and so forth. With SS31, it's a constant stream of power, so the muscle building happens at way faster rates. Next most popular on this page is fat loss. There's two really important concepts when it comes to fat loss with mitochondria. Number one, and what most people know, is that an increased mitochondrial function will burn fat for energy as opposed to putting it in fat stores. That's true and that's really effective. But the much more important piece is what it does to your insulin sensitivity. There's two concepts to understand with fat loss and mitochondria. The first one a lot of people know is that a more improved mitochondria will take fat and burn it for energy. But what a lot of people don't touch on is the second level, which is that mitochondrial efficiency also increases our insulin sensitivity. So it's going to stop our fat from going to fat stores in the first place. Remember those toxic energy leaks we talked about before, the ROSs? When those are rampant throughout your system, the body has a really hard time switching between burning carbs and then fat and then carbs and then fat, and it typically ends up just burning all your carbs instead of burning your fat. When we patch up those leaks and keep those ROSs from getting in our system, our body learns to use our insulin cells to burn sugar, our carbohydrates, instead of our fat. When we keep those ROSs from getting into our system, it makes our body more effective at running our insulin cells on carbs and sugar instead of turning those carbs and sugar into fat. Your fat cells are like being stranded in the water with a backpack full of water, but the backpack has a bulletproof lock on it and you can't get it open. The one thing we need for energy is on our back, weighing us down, and we can't even access it. SS31 is that master key that unlocks that lock. Now we can take the backpack off, drink the water, and we're not weighed down. Now, for those of you that are into the aesthetic side of mitochondria, there's a ton of benefits that we're starting to find, especially when it comes to anti-aging, skin health, hair quality, even slowing the rate at which our hair turns gray, which is insane. Those toxic ROS chemicals leaking from the mitochondria are causing a ton of oxidative stress, which is especially prevalent in the skin. That same oxidative stress is also what causes our hair to gray, and people do everything in the world in order to combat oxidative stress, when it would be a lot more effective to just stop it from happening in the first place. Now, a lot of people try to find ways to block out the sun and put shade on it. But more importantly, why don't we just strengthen the paint we use and improve our shingles? That's where mitochondrial efficiency comes into place. If we can improve the quality of the mitochondria with SS31, then we don't need to block out the sun. We can just improve our paint and shingles. It's really important to know what causes the damage in the mitochondria in the first place. The first and foremost, the worst of the worst, is going to be drugs and alcohol. Imagine we've got the Great Wall of China, right? That's our cellular membrane. Every time you take a shot, every time you smoke, every time you do a bump of whatever, you're just chipping away at that wall, and eventually it's just gushing. Food cooked in seed oils at high temperatures has shown to be a massive cause of inflammation, primarily a result of ROSs leaking out of the mitochondrial membrane. So if there's anybody who needs SS31 more than anyone else, I would definitely put drinkers and smokers at the top of the list. Entrepreneurs and business people who have extremely stressful jobs and create that oxidative stress with high cortisol, those are going to be my number two. Number three is athletes and weightlifters, because they're putting their body through such rigorous training, and a lot of them aren't recovering quickly enough, and they end up focusing on the wrong parts of recovery, like saunas, ice baths, more protein, IVs, which are all great, but unless your body has the cellular function in order to absorb what you're giving it, all of that stuff becomes useless. Look, guys, if you're into this kind of stuff and you like finding ways to improve the body, whether that be look, feel, performance, anything, that's everything I post on this page. I post 2 videos a week, every single week. So do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you don't miss a single opportunity to learn more. And I will see you guys in the next one.